Hello, in this video I'll be telling you why I haven't created any content in the first half of this year, 2021 so far. This is a very difficult video for me to make. It's not only difficult because it's a little bit on a personal nature, but it's also difficult because I just actually don't have all the answers. I can't tell you exactly why I haven't been creating much content and I haven't been working on my business so much in the recent past, because I quite simply don't know. I am not 100% sure. Although I do have a lot of reasons why I've taken my foot off the gas of my business recently, and I want to tell you about them. And like in my business so far for the last 15 years, I've always been sharing what I've been doing when things are going right. So now I'm going to be sharing this part of my life where things are going slightly wonky, because it might help someone somewhere. Someone somewhere might be going through the same sort of things as I am. So I'm going to tell you what's happening and we'll see if that helps anybody. But first of all, I need to explain to you who I am, what my business is, before I can tell you why I've stopped working on it. So it goes back quite a long time. About 15 years ago, I was a freelance graphic designer in London, and I started a website and a business. I wrote articles about freelance graphic design, and I then started to do well on Google in the UK, and I started to get work. So that was great because I could then work from home for clients, get paid more money than I was getting paid freelancing in offices, and that took off. In fact, in the late aughts, in sort of 2008 sort of time, my website was doing very well on Google, and then I was able to pivot and to create digital products and earn passive income rather than just working for clients. My main products were online courses, and they were mainly about web design and online business, that sort of thing. And I could go into more detail about that as well, as I also made other products. But that explains to you the sort of core of my business. The next thing to say was that in 2014, the business was going very well, and I decided to move out to Thailand. And this is because I was location independent. I was living in London. London is a very expensive place, and I could just live somewhere else, and I could earn the same amount of money but spend much less. And there were other reasons for moving to Thailand. I mean, there's a great entrepreneurial community here in Chiang Mai, and I could go on and on about how great Thailand is. However, the next year, 2015, my dad died and I had to go to England, and I had to stay there a while. I also then travelled a lot more. And we're getting on to the first reason why I started to work a little bit less on my business, not hugely less, but a little bit less. And that was that I just didn't have the time to do everything. My normal output in London, I would say to myself that I could create an online course every month, a 2-hour video course every month, or I could write a book every month. I wrote 7 or 8 books and I created about 20 courses. Now that's a lot of work, but I was happy to do it. I was banging it out in London. I didn't have any distractions, and I absolutely 110% loved my business, which makes it very strange for me now saying that, because now I'm doing less in my business. But one of the reasons was definitely that I had a very high degree of content output that I had to put out. So not only was it the courses, the books, I also did a blog post every week. I did a YouTube video every week, and these YouTube videos needed to be edited, and the blog posts needed to be SEO'd, and I needed to put images in them. I had loads of freelancers working for me, but you still have to coordinate the freelancers. So that was an awful lot of work. I was still even doing graphic design and web design for clients, because a good client would come along and I didn't want to say no. So I would do all of that. And slowly but surely, I think I just sort of decided, oh, well, I'll do a little bit less this week. I won't do a blog post this week, I'll put it off to the next week. But this continued. So I think overwork was a factor, although I would say that I wasn't unhappy with the overwork. I was sleeping well, I was exercising well, but the business was me. If you want to be in online business and you want to create a community, you want to create a following, then that's the way you should do it. You should have your name. My name is Rob Cubbon. My website is robcubbon.com, and I'm Rob Cubbon across all social media and on Udemy, where I have my courses. I also have my courses on my site as well. But there is one problem with that. You are the business, and that's okay. But if you're just going to take your foot off the gas, as I explained, if you're going to work less, then the output's going to be less. You can't outsource everything. I can't outsource my face to a freelancer to do this video. I have to do it myself. So that was one thing that I was doing too much on the core business. But being me, I am a little bit easily bored, and I kind of one of these people who wants more. And I just wanted more businesses. I was very taken with online business, and especially when I came here to Chiang Mai. In the first place, Amazon FBA was a very interesting business that a lot of people were getting into, and I really thought it would be great if I could just create a product and manufacture it in China and ship it over to the US and sell it in the US. And I just really wanted to do that, and I tried it with 3 different products. Unfortunately, none of them did that well. I didn't lose any money, but I didn't make as much money as I wanted to, and I did eventually give that one up. But then I did Amazon merch, which is t-shirt design, selling merch on Amazon, and then a variety of other websites. And then I did low content books, selling low content books on Amazon. And these were 2 businesses that did well. I mean, I made money, still do, of course, with the t-shirts, and definitely with the low content books, because that business did particularly well, and I was very happy with that. The problem was there were too many businesses. I couldn't keep them all going all at the same time. I was trying to spin too many plates. One plate fell off, and then they all did. And also I couldn't keep up the same level of expertise in all these businesses. When you think about it, I was creating content around my idea of SEO and how to market yourself online and get Google interested in you so you do well in Google. But I'd learnt all that in 2005. It was a lot easier then. And I then lost my confidence in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Can you still do SEO the same way as I did in 2005? I'm not sure if you can. So as I added more businesses, I became an expert in the more recent business, but I was unconfident about being an expert in the old business. And the old business was my core business. So I'd moved on too quickly, too far, and too soon, and I couldn't keep everything going. I've got to say, an example of somebody who did this right here is Lisa Irby, who is one of the best online entrepreneurs out there. She's been going for 20 years, I believe, because I've been following her for a long time. And she used to have a great online business talking about websites. She did website design, website reselling, and affiliate marketing. She was great at that. But then suddenly, about I think 4 or 5 years ago, she pivoted and said, right, I'm just doing merch now. And she's doing t-shirt and other merch designs on Amazon and all the other websites. But she's just doing that now. She's not doing anything else. And I think that was a very brave, but a very sensible way of going about things as your online businesses develop and as you get older and as you've been doing it for a few decades, to hone down on that one thing. Now, my one thing may well have been to carry on with the online courses about graphic design, web design. That was my core business. That's what made most of my money. I could have honed in on that, and that would have been sensible, but I didn't. As I said, I'm kind of greedy and I want more, and I want to do other things, and I'm bored easily. So I didn't want to give anything up. The ego comes into this a lot as you get successful and people start saying nice things to you.
it does go to your head a little bit, or it went to my head anyway. And I kind of got ideas above my station, I think, at one point. And I wanted to be a sort of online guru. I wouldn't have liked that terminology, but I wanted to be the sort of person who helped other people with their online businesses. And I do love helping people with online business, don't get me wrong. I should have stuck to my core business and stuck to what I knew about. I couldn't be the next Pat Flynn, but my kind of ego wanted me to be. And then I went off into other directions for that. Probably wasted a lot of time doing that. Again, I should have concentrated on that just one thing. Another thing to mention, I mean, this is a small point, is social media. And when I started in 2005, as far as I remember, you only really had Google and WordPress websites. And that's how you marketed yourself online. It's how you promoted yourself online. There was social media. But it kind of exploded in 2007, 8, 9. And it's got to this ridiculous state that it is at the moment. I say ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with social media. Social media is absolutely great. It can put together people from all around the world sharing common interests. And it's a great marketing tool. As an online business person who has a following, I had to do all the Facebook, Twitter stuff, which I did. But I just lost interest in it completely. I felt uneasy about posting what I had for breakfast each day. And I've got nothing against people who do that. In fact, I do take pictures of my food all the time. I just feel self-conscious about putting them up on social media. I feel a bit self-conscious about people knowing where I am in the world. Again, social media is great. I went to Jaipur the other day and I put up a picture of Jaipur and I suddenly met 2 Jaipur locals who'd known me through Udemy, and it was great to meet them. So there's so many great things about social media, but it's my personality. I just don't like it. I just don't get it. And I feel stupid doing it. I don't know why. Anyway, that's another reason. It's not a big reason, but I don't like social media. And the last thing I want to talk about, and this is a little bit difficult to talk about, is my age. So I'm 53 now. And one thing I've noticed, I don't know if this is the same about everyone else who turns 50, other men that turn 50, but I've noticed that I really don't want to hustle anymore. Maybe that's laziness, I don't know. But when you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and you've got a wife, you've got kids, you've got responsibilities, and you want to build something, you want to build a business, you've got your whole life ahead of you, and it is a great time to hustle. But I've got to say, in my 50s, I really don't feel like going into the trenches and rolling my sleeve up and hustle. Promotion online is all about hustle, hustle, hustle. You've just got to put it out there and you've got to keep going. You've got to do those interviews, you've got to do those updates, and you've got to publish. It's great, don't get me wrong, I love doing it. But in your 50s, I think you want to become more of a manager than a hustler. You want to get other people to do that for you and manage your business, as opposed to being in it and doing all the work for it. So I just feel like that at the moment. And there's something about, I will say the words midlife crisis, whereby you're not building something for the future at 53. You're more you have more of your life behind you than you have ahead of you. So you have a different way of looking at things. And this has come in at this time, and it's affected me in my business, and it's made me want to pivot and want to do something else with my life. Now, I've kind of explained all I can about why I'm doing less on my business at the moment. But now I want to talk about the future and what it holds. So I want to, in the future, take the best of what I did in the past and put it to the future. And I'm lucky because I've made investments. I have an apartment in London and I have a runway and some time. Of course, my business is still making money because it's passive. It's not making as much as it did. Actually, 2 years ago, it made a lot of money, but because I haven't created any new products much in the last 2 years or so, then the money is starting to dwindle, and I fully expected that, and I'm taking that on the chin. But I am lucky, I do have a runway, I do have a considerable runway where I have time, energy and space to think about what I'm going to do, and I'm extremely lucky to be able to say that. And I would love to hear what you think. What do you think about what I'm saying? Does it make absolutely no sense to you? The hardest thing when you're making these videos is trying to work out what other people want to learn about, whereas my experiences are particular to me, and I don't know what your experiences are and whether they're different to mine and whether this is useful to you or not. So I would love to hear from you about what you think about this video, and I will be making more content in the future to explain what I will be doing with my business going forward. So thank you very much for listening. My name's Rob Cubban, and I'll see you in another video.